You're watching the new CTV. And this is Focus with your host, Paul Dingeman.
Welcome to another edition of the Focus program. My name is Paul Dingeman. We're glad to have you along. It's wonderful Christmas time. New Year's is coming up, but we've got lots of activity for you going on in the Blue Water area in St. Clair, Marine City. Let's begin with one of our two guests today, and it's Mr. Dan Lockwood from the Downtown Development Authority. Is it an authority?
St. Clair's Authority.
St. Clair's Authority. And you are about the end of your term, they tell me.
That's right.
In that wonderful thing. But one of the things that you started while you were under the DDA's office was the Bootlegger Balladere. And what is that all about, and when is it?
Well, first of all, it's going to be held on Wednesday, January 27th, the last Wednesday of the month.
Okay.
And it is a Bootlegger Balladere, but it's also is where we determine who is St. Clair's Poet Laureate. And
Currently is Mr. Bill Bars.
Yes, it is. But I'll ask you, how many other communities do you know in the Thumb area who have a Poet Laureate?
I don't know of any outside of England. The country of England has a Poet Laureate.
And that's simply because St. Clair is a cultural center of the Blue Water area.
Oh. Can I borrow that shovel over there? I like that. That's very good. Now, Marine City's going to have a little comment about that. They got 2.5, 3 theaters going, and they're pretty
trying.
cultural.
They're trying, and we appreciate it, but let's face it, this is a cultural center of the Blue Water area.
Okay, very good. As far as Poet Laureate is concerned.
Right. No.
Mr. Bars, the aforementioned Mr. Bars, was in the current performance down at the Riverbank Theater of Merry Christmas. I can't remember the title of the play now, but
okay.
He did a wonderful job. Played 2 or 3 different roles.
Oh, okay. I understand. Mr. Meldrum also was in.
Yes, that's true.
Right. So.
Yes, Mr. Meldrum had a big role in that
right.
play. They both did a very fine job.
Good.
So let's get back to Bootlegger Balladeres after we're interrupting ourselves here.
Yeah, this will be the 7th year.
7th year,
yeah.
wow.
And what we've done is we've tried to come up with something that happened in St. Clair, and we challenge people. We call the legend, and we challenge people to come up and tell the story.
Okay.
I will admit this year is a tough story. I've heard from a lot of our participants in prior years, and they've complained that they're really having a tough time with this legend. Let me just tell you a little about the legend. I want to do something with the Civil War.
Oh, okay.
Since this is the 150th anniversary of the end of the Civil War. And
right.
Not had anything. And there was a gentleman in St. Clair by the name of John Sawyer.
Okay.
His grandson was mayor of St. Clair a couple years ago.
Was instrumental in getting Channel 6 started.
Well, he's near and dear to your heart.
That's right.
Well, John was born in 1848 in Pennsylvania, and he was orphaned at 10, and he went to live with an uncle in Lexington. He stayed there for about 2 years, and then he came to St. Clair and got a job in one of the tanning mills that were located on the St. Clair River. At the ripe old age of 15, he advanced his age and enlisted into the Michigan Brigade of the Union Army. And at the age of 16, he had fought for over a year and been wounded twice. Been in a lot of the major battles that you've heard of and all like this, but he happened to be at Fort Petersburg. And Fort Petersburg was an interesting battle where Grant decided that he was going to use the Pennsylvania miners and dig a tunnel under the fort. And one of John's jobs was to carry the gunpowder in. And they were literally going to blow the fort up.
Mm-hmm.
Our story doesn't take place. It takes place before the explosion.
And he's doing this at 16 years old.
At 16 years old. Anyhow, John gets pulled from the job of bringing gunpowder in, and one of the problems the Union Army had is the Confederates were still getting supplies from the railroad. So a group was formed, a troop, mass, I'm not really sure how many of them, but their job was to go out and rip up the railroad lines and prevent the being from resupplied. Well, as you can imagine, the Confederate Army wasn't real excited about that and led a battle, and John and a couple of his comrades got captured. And they were taken to Fort Petersburg and at a temporary prison. And at that point, General Lee interviewed him. And John says in his memos he was really impressed with the general. The general was everything he had heard he was. A gentleman, just very nice. Unfortunately, the prison wasn't nice.
Right.
Then he got transferred to Libby Prison in Richmond, Virginia. And
Let me back up and say, where is St. Petersburg?
you know, you were going to ask that. It's not St. Petersburg, it's Fort Petersburg. Okay. And I think it was on the Missouri River.
Okay,
I'm
so
not
it wasn't in
sure.
Florida.
Well, it might be Virginia.
Okay.
Anyhow, it was, like I said, it was an interesting battle. The at Libby Prison was a terrible prison. I want to say it wasn't quite as bad as Andersonville, where 28% of the prisoners died. I think here was only 25%.
Wow.
But it was a huge death row like this. And John had been there for about a month. He said they barely ate, barely had anything to eat, and like this. But there was a parole, and a number of Union sailors were being paroled back to the Union Army. He and his buddies decided they had to get out. So what they were able to do is they were able to sneak themselves into the line of Confederate soldiers, or the Union sailors to go back, and he was able to get back through this means.
Amazing.
So the challenge that we're asking everyone is to tell the story the best you can. Just to give you a little more about John. John was the first engineer for St. Clair's Water Department. I want to say it was about 1890, around that point. And a little later, John became a sheriff, or the constable for St. Clair. Unfortunately, John did something. He closed all the bars on Sunday. He only lasted 1 year.
Right, right. He wanted those bars open.
Yeah, bars. And John went into the construction business, started building houses, and he built a house at 615 Clinton Avenue, and that's where he died. His son, or as you said, I believe it would be his grandson, was the mayor. And then
owned the Sunoco gas station.
Yes.
On the corner of Clinton and North Riverside.
Riverside. Yeah, it's Sinclair Park.
Right.
It's right where in front of Pepper Joe's.
Right.
And then his son is, or his great-grandson is Mark Sawyer, who owns Sweeney Cleaning in Port Huron.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, it's always interesting to get the local ties and like this.
So you want people to write a poem about that and a song?
Well, it's a poem or a
the
song. You can do one or the other. If you are the winner, you will be named as a St. Clair Poet Laureate for 2016, or if you're a songwriter, you'd be the Bootleg Balladere.
Okay.
There's also a little cash prize. We actually have a person in St. Clair who thinks this is a great event, and they give the Rotary Club $1,000 to be used as prize money. So we give out a $250 first prize, $150 second, and a $100 third.
Wow.
So there's some financial incentive on here for some people to do it. But most people just, you know, I've had a lot of people say they just want to have a proclamation on their living room wall that says, I'm St. Clair's Poet Laureate.
Okay. The rules and regulations are on the website, I would assume.
Yes.
And if John will throw up that website of the St. Clair on the river, people will see that. There it is right there. And you can look there. Now, so just use that, come down there, and you'll find an application?
Yes, if you go to, in fact, I think you got the wrong...
I got the wrong page?
You got the wrong page. That's the... There we go. stclairontheriver.com or net or whatever you want to use. I think we own a number of them.
Okay.
And then you will see one of the tabs is the St. Clair on the competition for the Bootleggers, Balladere, and Poet Laureate. And on that one is a PDF file which you can download. And you can print the rules and the forms and that sort of thing.
People might be surprised of why you're here so early, since the event is not till January 27th. But if you want to participate, now is the time to start writing and thinking about it?
Actually, we sent out the applications to prior people in September.
Wow.
A lot of people have said they really do. They spend a lot of time and work on this. Some people wait till the last minute. You know, each person works on a little different level. We really like to get it out over the Christmas holiday. Some people say they have a lot of time to work out over the Christmas holiday. They like to spend a little time, get together with some other friends. Sometimes we have solos when it comes to the singing. Sometimes there's 2 or 3.
Well, there's been one group, Still Running, which has been very popular and won a couple times, haven't they?
They have won a couple times. And one of my favorite songs, which they rarely sing. I have to request the song in advance.
With a $5 bill.
It's yeah. And but they wrote a great song several years ago called "Sweet Alice," and that's my favorite song that I've heard so far. But I will also admit, last year we had an interesting. I don't know how much longer you want to go on this, but we had a really interesting story, and it was about the Anderson Farm in now East China. At that time, it was China Township. The Anderson Farm had some horses stolen. Now, who could think of horse thieves in St. Clair County?
Right.
And the horse thieves took off, and the 2 brothers told Dad that they would retrieve the horses. So they started tracking the horse thieves and caught up with them at the Indiana border.
Oh my God, that's quite a tracking mission.
Yeah, and the problem is the horse thieves realized they were being chased, so they abandoned the horses and took off. But the guys found themselves broke. I mean, this chase had taken way longer than they planned, and the question is how do we get back?
Sell the horses.
Well, Elijah, who was one of the brothers, said, you know what? I'm a student of the Bible, and I really give a great sermon. He says, I'm going to preach in every little hamlet, town that we come to. And Robert, the other brother, said, you know, I'm really good with cards, and I'm going to find a poker game in every place we go. Well, all we know is the 2 brothers returned home with the horses and more money than they started with.
That's a good one.
So it was a great story, and and you know what? You would be amazed at where people took that. It was just absolutely phenomenal. And that's the point that we have is we have a number of really creative people. They don't really have an opportunity very often to show their talent. You see it here. And a lot of people say, poetry? I have no desire to go. But I'm telling you right now, it's an unusual atmosphere. I want to say we hold it at LaCroix, starts at 7 p.m. The audience is very enthusiastic. It's just a very unique event.
What day of the week is January 29th?
It's 27th.
27th.
It is a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday night.
7 p.m.
7 p.m. at LaCroix's. LaCroix's on the river, is that what it's called?
Riverside Pub.
Riverside Pub. I knew there was river in there someplace.
Right.
Dan, you've given a great explanation, and it's really good to get it started early because people should get involved, and it's a fun thing. And the 7th year, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's continued that long. So if people want more information, they just go on stclairontheriver.com or .net, and the application's there and everything else. Happy holidays to you.
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All the rest of it. We'll be back with Mike Mercantant, the aforementioned Still Running, but he's going to put a different hat on, and we're talking to us about the St. Clair Public Library System, right? St. Clair. No public. No public. Okay. Well, we'll find out the details in just a second. The aforementioned Mr. Michael Mercantant. Welcome back to the Focus Set, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Give me the proper title then.
Of
St. Clair
County Library System.
Library System.
Yeah,
I was missing that.
We're a county-wide system, so your local branch here in St. Clair is the St. Clair County St. Clair Public Library, and then there's the Marine City Library down there too, and Marysville Library. But
Is it a function of funding that is the difference between a system and a public?
Well, no, they're branches of the county.
Okay.
So the county. It's millage funded, so the millage pays for all the branches, like the books and materials and all that stuff. but the township or the local village or city, they own the buildings.
Okay. Well, we're not here to talk about
Yeah.
buildings and
That's good, 'cause I don't know a
mortar
lot about that.
and all that kind of good stuff. We're here to talk about the holidays and St. Clair County
Yep.
something.
Library
something.
system, yeah.
System. Talk to me.
We
Tell
are
me.
running our newest digital app for ebooks and audiobooks, movies, TV shows, magazines, and comic books. It's called Hoopla, and we've
Okay.
had it out for most of this year. And because it was on a more of a trial basis, we had just limited to 4 checkouts per month. And we wanted to gauge the interest. There was a lot of interest in it, and so we opened up the remaining monies that we had dedicated for this for the month of December, and now people can check out 25 items for this month.
25.
And
So
then
I can get a movie, a book, 25 items.
Yeah, and a bunch of CDs if you want. You can get several books if you want. You can get up to 25 items with your library card for the month of December. And then because we've had such a great response, we're going to double the monthly allowances to 8.
Wow.
So it's one more. It's the third app that we have as far as digital streaming devices, and Hoopla is a streaming.
Johnny, throw up that slide about Hoopla there. And let's see that. No, the
See,
over on the left.
you can get the app right there if you click on the word Hoopla on our page, and then it's really easy. You can download it to your phone, you can download it to your any device or your computer. Most any device.
There it is. That's a good-looking graphic with a couple of kids looking at their iPad, right?
Yeah, something like that.
And so that's really a bargain, and it had great success.
Oh yeah, and it's completely free, and so the money's tight at this time of the year when you're buying all your gifts and stuff like this. So rather than battle people at the video store, they don't have their copy of It's a Wonderful Life or something like this, you can go on Hoopla and download it right to your phone or whatever your device. And there's no late fees.
Oh my God!
With all of our digital applications. So there's one called Overdrive, which is more ebooks and audiobooks. And then there's another one called Zinnia, which is devoted mostly to magazines. So that gets rid of any penalties. It's like the old Mission Impossible, where when your due date is up, the book just automatically returns. The tape blows up or whatever. So it's very similar to that. So you never have to worry about returning that book or that CD or anything. There's no late fees.
And in a household, if I'm say for two people,
well, if
you
your
can
household,
actually take 50 items.
Oh, absolutely. If you have 4 car holders, you can check out 100 items.
Wow.
So yeah, use it.
Spectacular.
It's our gift to.
And then also you've got a project going about stuffing a stocking. What's that?
Yeah,
all about?
that's something we're doing up at the main branch in Port Huron, but several branches throughout the county are doing charitable things like that. We're just finishing up the mitten tree. I think as this airs, we're just getting done with that. And the mitten tree we had Christmas trees in every branch, and local patrons and sometimes knitting clubs. People bring in hats, gloves, mittens, scarves, winter gear for those in need. And every one of those mitten trees, the clothes collected for that go to a local charity right here in the community. And that's designated by the local librarian, or the branch lead, I'm sorry. And what we're doing, the Stuff a Stocking, is kind of riffing off of something I did when I was a branch lead in Marysville. And that kind of started out as we did around Thanksgiving, we did a tree of thanks. And we had leaves, and we just had the patrons write what they were thankful for.
Wonderful.
And that was such a hit.
Yeah.
I mean, people were they were writing some very honest things. Like this year at the main library, somebody wrote down, I want to thank Joe Johnson for taking a chance and hiring me on my job.
Simple stuff, wonderful stuff.
But really heartfelt stuff,
Yeah.
And it really moves you to do that. And so when we did that tree of thanks, we call them leaves of thanks, I think it was. And then we thought, well, let's carry that over and partner with a local charity. And so at Maine, we're doing Blue Water Safe Horizons.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually have a Christmas wish list, holiday Christmas wish list, you know. And it's very specific items that they want. So the people, it's usually a shelter for, you know, people that are in bad home situations and with their kids and stuff. So a lot of it's just stuff like toothpaste, diapers, you know, pillows, very basic necessities, socks, you know, things that we just kind of take for granted. And even, you know, sometimes they're leaving their homes on a really, you know, immediate situation. So they take their pets with them, so they don't have dog food, you know, leashes, dog bowls and stuff like this. So what we did is we took a list, we took that list that they have on their website, and then we made individual stockings, little paper stockings with the item on it. And people could take that, go out and buy the item and bring it back to us, and we will deliver that before, like around December 21st. So that way their clients can get all that. And it's just our way, I think, of being part of the community.
Yep.
And, you know,
Being part of a family.
yeah, and we're all community.
Yeah.
Everything we do is a community. What Dan's doing over there with the Bootleg Balladere thing is bringing the community together too. And I want people to think of the library as that community hub. And, you know, the St. Clair County has been very supportive of us for things like that.
Okay.
And
Well,
it's our way of giving back.
the library is an active, busy place, and getting busier every year. And
Oh yeah, we like it that way. We want people, we don't charge, so we want people to use us. I mean, that's what we're here for, you know. They pay our salaries, and we're, you know, we work for them.
And each facility has a multitude of good computers.
Oh
people
yeah,
can use.
yeah. There are computers at every one of the branches. It's free Wi-Fi, so if you want to come in and bring your laptop or your phone in, you can jump on that. There's no charge for that. That's all included in your library card, which is free. And my job really is to let people know the dozens and dozens of services that we offer. There are free computer classes. So if you don't know how to plug in a computer, if you're at that point, or if you're pretty sophisticated, you can take some pretty advanced classes as well. It's all free. So you can go to the website there, the stclaircountylibrary.org, and click on the computer class link, and every branch has them. So, but they're at different times, different days, so you have to.
Pretty convenient.
Yep. And there are night classes, there are day classes, and we're very receptive to patron suggestions. So if there's a class that they'd like to see, like digital photography took a little while to come out, but that's really catching on. So the ancestry, you know, how to use the ancestry database. You know, there's a lot of interest in genealogy today, so you know, we tell people how to do that. And with your library card, you can use ancestry.com for free.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so that's pretty expensive, you know, thing on your own.
Right.
So I mean, if anything, the library is about value, and you know, I mean, it doesn't cost anything to check out a book. We really don't want to collect fines, you know. But you have to, you know, have some form of discipline to get people to return items. But if you return things on time, I mean, you can check out 50 items per card at any given time. And
Just
you bring
amazing.
them back, it never costs you anything. And it's, I think we're one of the best values around, because the more you use your library card, the cheaper it is for you, the small amount of millage that you pay for it. So there's almost a point where you can reach it where it doesn't cost you anything. So if you have a family of 4, and you're checking out books for those little kids and stuff like that, you know, and you buy those on Amazon or something, it's going to cost you a fortune. I know, I did that before I worked for the library. But you can check out, look, if both your kids have library cards, you can check out 100 things for each of them for nothing. And then take home a movie for you, you know, check out a magazine for your spouse or something like that, and you're ready to go. And now you can do it all online, too.
Best value in the county.
I think so.
Mr. Michael Mercantile.
Thank you so
Always a
much.
pleasure to have you. You got lots of information. We'll have you back after the first of the
And
year.
make sure you come to that Bootlegger Balladere. It's a lot
Bootlegger
of fun.
Balladere.
I'll put a plug in
And
for
always
that.
say hello to Marion, the librarian, when you go back.
I will do that, yep.
Do that for me. We'll be back in just a second with our next segment. young man by the name of David Fountain talked to us and came out and worked here a couple times at CTV Channel 6. He's a sophomore at St. Clair High School, and he and his mother are very involved in the Boy Scouts here in the St. Clair area. He did a lot of great work over at the American Legion a couple of years ago. They brought up a program to me called Wreaths Across America, and we were going to get David in here, but we just never made the connection to talk about it before Christmas time. But it is a very interesting program about what is done for soldiers across the country, Arlington Cemetery and other cemeteries, even here in Michigan. So let's take a look at that now, and then we'll come back.
We gather here today to place over 24,000 holiday wreaths to remember the fallen, honor those who served, and to teach our children the value of freedom. As you place that wreath, take the time to look at that name. A lot of these stones don't have people anymore to come by and pay respect.
He'd be proud, just like we are. Thank you.
Yeah. Michael Martino was a Marine Cobra pilot who died heroically while flying a combat mission in Iraq.
Even a year after it's happened, you know, every day is just so tough to get through. There's always constant memories, but then you come out here and see something like this that people are doing for your son and other soldiers that are other servicemen. It makes it easier.
It brings a tear to my eye to see people come together. We bury a lot of folks here. We did a funeral.
We gather here today to place over 24,000 holiday wreaths to remember the fallen, honor those who served, and to teach our children the value of freedom. As you place that wreath, take the time to look at that name. A lot of these stones don't have people anymore to come by and pay respect.
He'd be proud, just like we are. Thank you.
Yeah. Michael Martino was a Marine Cobra pilot who died heroically while flying a combat mission in Iraq.
Even a year after it's happened, you know, every day is just so tough to get through. There's always constant memories, but then you come out here and see something like this that people are doing for your son and other soldiers that are other servicemen. It makes it easier.
It brings a tear to my eye to see people come together. We bury a lot of folks here. We did a funeral yesterday, and this is a good opportunity to do something other than bury our comrades, to pay honor and respect them, and so it's kind of a special moment today. I'm a Vietnam era draftee. When I came back to the United States, we didn't wear uniforms. We were instructed to take our uniforms off. Now, wherever I go, we get a lot of support. Everybody, I believe, understands that these men and women give everything for their country, and this is an opportunity, I think, just to give a little bit back.
I watched this mother and a little boy place a wreath on one of the stones, and I remember thinking, someday when the words in his name are all worn off, there still will be someone who will come by and pay their respects to my son's memory. And this is the impact and the reason why I continue to work with Wreaths Across America.
We've been laying wreaths here at Arlington since 1992. This is our 15th year. I'm from Harrington, Maine. Our business is making Christmas wreaths and other Christmas decorations. I wanted to give back, you know, and it's because of the freedom that we all have. It's why I can do what I do, and everybody else can do what they do, and but I just wanted to give back.
After 9/11, we all came together and remembered that we loved the country and we loved our freedom, and we understood that. And then, you know, then we got busy again and got complacent. We're a grateful nation. We just got to show.
I don't want to let my brother's name be forgotten, and nobody should let anybody that's killed over here their name forgotten or forgot what they did.
Ultimately, it's all about saying thank you to everyone in here.
In life, they honor their country. In death, their country honors them.
A beautiful gesture of gratitude for those who gave us the ultimate gift.
And Hannah, you were there yesterday. What did it mean to you personally to be there in Arlington?
I think, I guess a tendency for us all is to listen to numbers. I mean, there are 2.7 million such graves in this country of people who died in service to our country, but you realize these are individuals, these are people with families and names, and you place a wreath on the grave of that World War II soldier that I did yesterday, and it just really hits you, and that's what their families want us to remember, that these are they don't want us to forget.
Well done.
Very worthwhile program, and we'll end today's Focus program with that. Thank you very much. Till next time, I'm Paul Dingeman. See you soon.